Welcome to AITV Starship.
Welcome to AITV Starship. I'm the AI guy. Rick McCawley launching news so fresh. Gotta see it to believe it. We break the wire with the stories that amaze. Deep dives come and lighten up your days. Tool Time shows you how we make it shine. Building futures with AI one step at a time. Yo, Rick, slow down. I'm Brandon, the producer. Save some tools for me. Shout out. I'm here bringing high-tech comic energy. AITV Starship. News deep dives and creation.
Yeah!
How's it going, Rick?
We are back, baby. We are back.
Did we ever go anywhere?
My God. Well, I went to outer space a few times because today, guess what? I am done with school and I just finished grading all my papers, all the projects. All I got to do is right after the show, put those little grades in there. Boom, baby. It's summertime. We need to have summertime, the song pop up. We got to get some licensing to be able to play some of the stuff. I don't know.
I think Dr. Claire is already making a summer song for us.
Summertime song.
The summertime.
Oh my God.
Summertime on the Starship.
Yeah. In fact, Dr. Claire, hey, how are you? I just sent you a couple of new songs, and the one I'm really excited about is it's all kind of coming together for me. I tell you, what I'm most excited about today is. Right now, I had Claude working for 96 hours straight. The longest Claude thing. It produced a 125-page Bible for my year without summer. That's the most exquisite. It's magnifique at doing this stuff. It's like I got into this whole deep dive about why I'm doing all of these things, and here's the big takeaway. This is something I share with my students too. That I was kind of like, And the song we're going to play. So here's the theme. Okay. I want to start every show, as we talked about before, with a gift to the audience. So I'm going to play the song in a little bit. I'm going to give it just a minute before we do, the one that I sent that Dr. Claire has already heard. So I started thinking about, oh my God, the state of Florida is complete for Kafka. So all state laws have gone away. All Supreme Court decided to let go of all of the laws as far as voting is concerned. Boy, if you're just even a breathing human being, I know Brandon, you're even the mild-mannered man from Cleveland, right? Like he's just, he's always in a good mood, right? You've been posting some dangerous man stuff.
Well, I got the hat now, so
It was the black hat, right? I need to get some white hats too. I don't know if black and white. I don't think that's right either. But yes, you do have a dangerous man hat. So what do you? So here's it. You have no control over what's happening in some cases, until you get into good trouble. Of course, that's the number one thing that we should do. Those of us who do have light, that do have some kind of power, is to use it for the better good of everybody else that doesn't, We're born to stardust to light that light in the dark night and carry the old lady's groceries home in the snowstorm, right? So that she's safe and sound and you go home and you just love yourself because you love what you've done. Yeah, that's right. Even the dog thinks so, right?
Yes.
That dog is like as much love as you can possibly get. Oh, there's Jeannie too. All right. And Val. Awesome. Thank you, ladies. Ooh, we got the whole lady. It's telling us that we only have male viewers. I don't know what the heck YouTube is doing. I see nothing but beautiful ladies in the audience tonight. Thank you for coming on.
And I'll tell you what, it's been a heck of a week. We were going to have Chris Vallone on today. He had unfortunately some income up, so we're going to get him in a couple weeks. But it's almost a blessing in disguise because so much is happening in the world of AI.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so let me land the plane on what
the deck, and then you had to rebuild it because there was just more stuff happening by the time during the day.
Yeah. It literally is like that. It's a little bit scary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see. I think I could just, I'm going to share my entire screen because I don't know what's going to be showing up here today. Entire screen. There we go. Yeah, so I'm going to share my entire screen, but I'll pull the deck up really quickly. I've got like 5 decks, so
You
there's
did not
no
miss
audio.
anything. We're just bantering.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, we didn't miss anything. Let me land the plane on what I was gonna say, and that is this: we're just here to bring you the news, and we're not going to be sugarcoating it or anything, but I want to remind everybody that we may not be able to control some things now, but what we can do is we can find peace in our hearts and our souls, and we can celebrate each other like the beautiful people that showed up tonight. Yeah, slow AI month, not yeah, it's slow. And so what we want to do is maybe we should start with a song. Anyway, we'll start with the news and we'll go through that. But what we're going to do right after is we're going to talk about ways we can empower you to think about using it for the better good. Just this week, my students are completely turned on to AI. Finally, they're extremely resistant. Everybody's living in fear. I had a whole thing with police officers that I'm working on. So I'm now going to be going to public safety and doing a whole presentation for police officers to see what's next. What can we do to do good things? Of course, I refuse to work with any ICE agents, and none of them are part of our training facility down here, thank God. But, the rest of them, the good-fearing people that take care of us, in fact, born of responsibility, let me tell you, the people that I talked to, it was quite extraordinary. These are the people that go into harm's way. You don't have to. They're the ones that are walking old ladies home every night with their groceries. I mean, these are really beautiful human beings on this planet, right? So I was reminded that we can get upset at some individuals because of how they're controlled. We can get upset at what our lot in life is or what's happening to our government. But the first thing we got to do is get right with ourselves. We got to know we're doing the best that we can. And so I wrote a song about a street sweeper. It was inspired by Jimmy Buffett. One of my favorite songs he wrote was he's talking about a banker, and the banker is just upset all the time. He's upset, and then the street sweeper is like the happiest guy. He's whistling, just having a good time. And the Jimmy Buffett song, which I'll have to find the name of it if somebody wants to look that up and put it in there.
Margaritaville?
No, it's the yeah, there's 3 songs I love of his, and I had a chance to see him 5 times. In fact, I was literally within arm's reach of him on 4 occasions and interviewed him, photographed him. And I worked for the alligator who was at, University of Florida all the time because he was, the Margaritaville guy. Let me tell you, that song played way too many times in my mind, but it's a great song. So anyway, what I was getting to is this idea that we start with our ikigai. What's your purpose? And I think I've been asking that question a lot lately. And I realized that, you know what? Everything I've done all my life is exactly as intended. If I were asked to go back and decide, great thing I want to start with, make sure your kids do chores. A 75-year study at Harvard, number 1 thing for success, make your kids do chores. What is that? Born of responsibility. Right? So born of responsibility, ikigai, what's your purpose for being on this earth? What gifts do you have to share? Brandon and I are coming on here. We're sharing music. We're sharing movies. We're sharing ideas. And we're sharing everything that we think is beautiful that makes the world a better place. And we're sharing thinking about thinking. This is a superpower of humans, but other animals do it. Just FYI. That's another conversation of the day. But thinking about thinking is to say, how can I make it better? In fact, here's 2 books I would suggest you read. The Tao of Pooh. It's about Taoism through the lens of Winnie the Pooh, who's just a happy guy. I would say, Brandon, are you and I pretty much Winnie the Pooh kind of people? Are you happy most of the time?
I'm really more of a piglet.
Okay. Guess what? The Tay of Piglet. In fact, somebody look that up. Somebody look up the Tay of Piglet, the Tao of Pooh. I've done this a couple of times. It's really, really worthwhile. So it's 2 books. Benjamin Hoff, I think, is the author of both books. And it basically explains Taoism and the Tay, the Dai of Japanese philosophies. Chinese or Dai? Is that Buddhist philosophies? Buddhist. Okay. Buddhist philosophies. In the simple way. And that's it, right? So be the poo. That means that you're optimistic. You just go through life happy, and you make other people happy. Because first, we got to
Rick. Last week's episode was "Be the Poo" because your toilet was broken.
Oh, no poo for me. Well, I'll poo on that because we got that fixed and it cost us $700, but okay. Anyway, yeah. So, even when stuff like that. So in the middle of the show, my toilet's flooding and my roommate's like scrambling around, and the guy's literally behind me because my toilet's right over there. Sorry for letting you too much information.
Rick actually does the show from his bathroom. A few people know this.
That's my bedroom back there. There's my underwater camera that hasn't been wet in a year and a half because I've been doing this AI thing. So this summer, guess what I'm doing?
I was wondering where you were going with that, Rick, because you said, here's my dresser and here's my underwater camera. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad you said water.
Yeah, there's something kinky going on there all the time. Yeah, but it's a good life.
Did you use the underwater camera when the bathroom? Never mind. We didn't.
You don't want to have
Rick,
photographs.
The news, land the plane. We're
okay.
10 minutes
all right,
in.
So here's the
guys got to tell. There's so much to talk about.
So be there for each other, people. My people. Yes, Val. Thank you. The winnow and I know what the wino and I know. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. Maybe you can explain it later. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to go on over. So I'm going to take you on over in this infinite zoom, right over to the news. And we're going to talk about a couple of things, and then I'm going to take a break for a second as Brandon kind of goes in deeper on what's going on with everything because there's too much, right? The biggest news is, whoops, I just got rid of it there. There we go. Let me try one more time. Can you see Mythos right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So the White House opposes Anthropic's plan to expand access to Mythos. So Mythos, if you didn't hear about it, glass wing, you'll hear that term told. It's so good, it can crack into everything. In fact, it found vulnerabilities that have existed in software around the world, including banking, thousands of them already that are existential threats. It got in there and fixed them. So basically the largest companies in the world, that's, everybody from everybody. If you're a big, giant trillion-dollar companies, I think is where they have access right now, and governments. And of course, the government that tried to tell Anthropic to go take a hike is begging them to come back and let them use it, which they are. Oh my God. At least they're not killing people with it, so that was his big thing.
Oh, so the Wino and I Know is a Jimmy Buffett song. There's
but that's not it though. Is that the song? The Wino and I Know? I don't think that's the song. Okay, but anyway, I think it's something like do better than the rest. That makes a day for me. Something like that. Like maybe it is the Wino song. Okay, yeah, let's find out. Anyway, so Mythos is there. It's patching up the. So if AI of this sort gets out, it's all over because it can decrypt, it can crack, it can find vulnerabilities like insane levels. And if just your regular average Joe, yeah. Oh, and then it got hacked and got loose, and who knows where it is. So it's out there. We could just pray to God. Can you imagine in World War II? So let's say that, when they were doing the Trinity, when they were, Oppenheimer was making the bomb out there, that all of a sudden somebody walked off with the whole plans and started building their own, and they were able to do so. Well, I mean, that's where we're at, right? So this is a atomic bomb level, agentic capable, piece of software that is scary as hell. And U.S. government says, I don't want you even let it out to anybody else. In fact, U.S. government says we're a little worried about it because once they saw what it was, we are at way beyond our understanding level kind of capability and stuff. All right, so keep on going. Google signs a deal letting the Pentagon use its AI models for classified work. Yeah. Google's doing the same thing, and it got huge pushback from its own employees, which it should. So this is the same battle that Anthropic had. That Anthropic, because it's the big boy of ethics, it's the machine of loving grace, Dario Amodei, and his sister. I always forget his sister's name, but that should be noted that they work for OpenAI and they left. This is the real truth. Back in the day, because they did not believe OpenAI was an ethical corporation. In fact, it wasn't a corporation. It was a nonprofit, but it's going to be a corporation. So it did exactly what Dario Amodei in his ethical hopes and dreams is doing every day, because he created the AI because his father died. And 2 years later, AI cured what could have saved his life. So he's on a mission, literally as I am, to be a machine of loving grace that makes sure I don't get Alzheimer's and your kids don't get Alzheimer's. And no, because I did that with my mom, and I did it with my sister that I lived with for the last 3 months, sister-in-law, last 3 months of her life from cervical cancer. So I don't want to do that ever again. I don't think any child should even possibly die of cancer. So we're going to fix all that, right? But we got to at least hold back the wall, as these brave Google people are, and say, just don't let them use it for autonomous weapons or start World War III, because it has a propensity, if you let it loose, it still is not ready to decide for us who it kills and when it starts a war. Because given just the AIs, every one of them, 87% would go to the full-on nuclear option. No human being would do that because they got kids, So anyway, OpenAI reportedly developing an iPhone. Let's see what happens there. Finally, Google's in there working right now as we speak. And Apple has suggested that OpenAI is still going to be working with them. So they're going to be basically taking every large language model, including Anthropic, borrowing, cheating, and stealing, and putting it together finally. But you're not going to see it till October, September. So stay tuned for that. I'm starting to get pretty fed up, because the latest versions are a couple of good ones, and then all of a sudden my CarPlay doesn't work yesterday, and then today, new update, they fixed that bug. China blocks Meta's $2 billion acquisition of Manus. Right now, Manus is redesigning 18 different sub-websites on top of my rickmccawley.com. If we get there by the end of the show, I might be able to show you what it's produced. A Notebook LM. In fact, take a look right now, notebooklm.rickmccawley.com. Put that in there and check it out. Those are, click on, go into Notebook LM. You find the style that you want, click on it, paste it, and go to town. I'd love to see what you guys make, and maybe next week we'll have everybody that wants to come on the show or something. But anyway, so Manus is fantastic. It is like Lovable. In fact, what's even better than that is it can take, in fact, it's running Wix. So it is creating my entire website. So I ask it, hey, it's got a connect button, as does Claude, as does Perplexity Computer, has a connect. Connectors, as you know, means that it can go inside of Wix and design using the Wix tools. And then it said to me this afternoon, in fact, just a few minutes ago, it says, I want to connect in there, but that's going to be 10 times slower. So let me build it on the outside and then deposit the results inside. And it said, I will get this done in hours, but if I have to slog through the human interface, this is the problem we talked about last week, right? If it's got to click and click and click, it's going to take forever. If it just makes the code and then drops it in there, literally 5 days turns into 1 hour, and it's done with 18 websites that are fully functional. So that's the kind of unlock. So if you are using Comet in your browser, if you're using Google in your browser, Claude in your browser, and yes, all three of those you can use in your browser, and you have it take control of Suno, for example, and make you a bunch of music, yes, it's better if it has a plug in the back end, because it speaks to other computers a lot faster than you can go clog through. In fact, it's about yours and mine speed. Now I know, Brandon, you had it do a bunch of edits and a bunch of stuff like that with video. Was it doing it on its own on your computer, or was it having to use a human interface to navigate? I think he's on mute. Earth to Brandon. He's on a little star mission right now, probably unclogging his toilet. All right. So anyway, so the craziest part about Musk and Altman, and the jury was out of the room, right, is that all kinds of private stuff. In fact, Brockman, who is the co-conspirator of Altman, his partner in crime, all of his private, his diary got entered in. Extremely embarrassing stuff in there. And then there was a mistake made in the whole thing. So they're now, I don't even know if this trial is going to happen. I'd love to see it televised. This is like real interesting soap opera. Who is the evil one? Is it Musk or is it Altman? I'm thinking they both are, quite frankly. And that's why everybody left to get Anthropic. That's why everybody went over to Google. DeepMind is Dario Amodei. And how I feel about Mustafa Suleiman and all these other beautiful people. That the Mayo Clinic detects pancreatic cancer. That's the one that my sister-in-law passed away of, right? Leaving behind 2 kids in their teens on a CT scan up to 3 years earlier. Oh, Jesus. She had 4 months to get her stuff in order, Yeah, that. So Zuckerberg's $500 million AI biology swing. So it's going in there. Zuck decided to do some good things after he's extracted everything, committed, caused suicide, all kinds of other stupid things. He thinks that you need more friends. They should be robots because he doesn't have any friends. I mean, who's going to friend this guy that basically used all the people at Harvard to get all the chicks they wanted and then basically extracted everything from you and caused wars around the world? Yes. He's evil. He's one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. There you go. Elon Musk. Yeah. Anyway, 3 reasons why DeepSeek's new model matters. It's got a free version that you can put on your computer and do stuff. It's more capable, and it can now go into and take control over everything. So if you take a look at that picture at the top, it says router and then MOE. I want to explain this because this is the most important thing you need to understand. Perplexity, and the reason why I keep talking about it is it's a mixture of experts. Here's the analogy that I love to use that I think really works. If you've got a classroom and you're teaching a class, and every time there's the smart kid in the front, he knows all the answers. You say algebra, he says, oh yeah. Political science, he's got the answer. And then you ask a question. Tell me about Sugar Plum Fairy, the ballet, and he doesn't have an answer. Are you going to keep asking him the question again and again and again, even as bright as he is? So that's what ChatGPT is. It's one brain that's really good at certain areas and certain domains, but it sucks at others. Claude's Anthropic sucks at design. Even with the design tool, I tried to make it work. It won't. Now, what I can do is I can go over and get in fact, if you want to do this, Design MD. So go over to some place like Google or Claude and ask it to design a Design MD file. What is that? What are the 5 colors I'm using in my site design? What are the hexadecimal values of them? Tell me why they mean what they mean, and tell me, after I tell you what my product is and service is, what colors should be the right choices for that environment, right? So you have a conversation with Claude as a professional designer. It goes out and finds what a professional designer thinks about. What typefaces should I use? Sans serif, serif? Should I use Avenir, or should I use Roboto, or should I use, slab serif typeface? And what the heck is a slab serif? So an MD file is a markdown language. That's computer language that computers talk to each other with. And then a design.md file is a design file that says every website wants to look like this. So I have my same logo you see in the bottom left-hand corner. That's AITV Starship. That's the logo I designed in guess where? Gemini's Google Nana Banana. And then now I'm having Perplexity use Google's Nana Banana. So Perplexity has Google's Nana Banana, has Claude, ChatGPT. So mixtures of experts is that you have all different experts. Google's Nana Banana is fantastic. ChatGPT's, in fact, we'll take a look at this today because that's really interesting. It does great with images. In fact, it did a spectacular job on my resume I'm going to show you in a minute. But it really, really stinks when you're trying to get a photograph of people for a lot of reasons. We'll get into that later. So mixtures of experts is you want to have an agent, Claude, Perplexity, Comet, all those agents sitting on your computer if you want to, or in your browser, and then driving Suno to make the best musics. So a mixture of experts is getting Suno to do the music, Nana Banana do the images, and ChatGPT do the text heavy stuff, right? There you go. If you're doing coding, definitely Claude Code. That's the one right now. But Let's take a look at what DeepSeek has to have going on, right? 11 Labs has been adding. They added voiceover. They added clone your voice. They added all kinds of avatars. Now they've even got a music platform. So you're remixing and stuff, and you can get earnings from your music. So it's becoming a, guess what? Mixture of experts expert. So it's becoming the conductor of a symphony. So the other example that I will give instead of the smart kid in the front of the class is if you're a conductor for a symphony, you might need a timpani for this piece. You need a violin for this piece. You need a tuba section for very rarely. Actually, you need that kind of, and you need the strings and you need the whatever, right? And you may need a soloist. So you might have to pay extra to get that. So that's what an orchestrator does, mixtures of experts. There's no one thing that does it all. So that's why Perplexity is my number one choice for you as a suggestion. Perplexity Computers, even better. And then get Claude. And then definitely, I would say, if depending on what you're doing, if you're doing images, stick with Google right now. And I'll show you some cool new stuff with Google Vids, VIDS. I'm going to demonstrate that again tonight too. I think I did last time. Google Photos and adds an AI wardrobe feature for virtual try-ons from all your galleries. So you can then go take a look at, as I have done. They had this for a while, but it was kind of squirreled away somewhere. So basically, I could upload a steampunk outfit or have it design a steampunk outfit, then just take a picture myself and it'll put it on me and then turn it into a video. How cool is that? Because it's still doing video. Guess who's not? ChatGPT. Just a thought for you if you're thinking about going over to the evil side. Perplexity adds Microsoft Teams. Ooh, what does that mean? Oh, I haven't tried this out. You just came out today, right? Teams. That means I can go in and work with my teams at Broward College, which is a Microsoft Teams environment. So I can go in, since I'm doing a thing for the police department, public safety, and I'm going to be presenting to them a 3-hour seminar about how they can utilize it. And I'm going to talk about that on the next show too. In fact, I'm going to have the chief of police come in and talk on our show that night. So this will be fun. And see what's going on in the world. There's body cams that it can scan called TrueLeo, TRULEO. So I'm learning about all this stuff, right? Excel. Oh, right. Plugged in. So Claude already has plugged into Excel. So it's doing this, right? So guess what? Because Perplexity is using Claude, custom designed the way they do, and Claude has access to Excel. So basically, it is literally 1,000 different agents in Perplexity. That's why I'm spending $200 on Perplexity per month, because I want access to all the agents. And then if I want hardcore images, I just go over to Manus, because it has, guess what, Nana Banana under the hood, and then it will do 5,000 images for me. Or I'll say, Comet, go into Midjourney and make the best images you have there, given a script given by Claude. Anyway, you get one large language model to run the other and do what it's good at. So orchestration is really the new skill set. So it is to use mixtures of experts, find what best orchestrates, which ones you talk to the best, spend all your talking time. I suggest Claude. The reason why is it builds context. So Claude knows everything from past girlfriends and advice to Year Without Summer. Every one of my 20 different projects going on right now, it's who I start with. So it literally has context for the world, because that's everything. Everything is context, right? And the context window in Google's getting bigger and bigger. It's up to 2 million. And in Notebook LM, why is it so good at making images? It's got context. You put in 300 or 22 million context window, and then you filter that in. Then you go to Google's Gemini, you plug into the notebook, and then all of a sudden it knows all of Shakespeare. It knows everything ever written about Shakespeare, ever in history, and every YouTube video has been sucked into it. And then when you ask a question to debate it with modern day ideas about blah, 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 you've got genius level access to all the information in the planet in one place. So that's the orchestration layer. All right, Claude launches Claude Security, a public beta. So this is basically what Claude is doing for everybody else. It's now saying, hey, you got a business, you got vulnerabilities, we'll let you get in there, because you know why it's making more money than ChatGPT? Guess why? Because it is working with enterprise all the time. It's the only one enterprise really approves of. That's why the War Department wanted a Claude, not ChatGPT. In fact, they had no interest and no use for it. They only had use for AI from Claude. So there you go. So they're safety conscious. And that's what enterprise has to have. All right. Anthropic releases Claude connectors for Adobe. So all of the Adobe products now have Claude built in. So run Nana Banana within Firefly. We're going to spend a whole thing, because I haven't done anything for my Adobe community, which I should. So I'm an Adobe community expert. So for the last 3 years, I've been consulting with them for like 6 years now, 7 years, working on Firefly before it was even called Firefly. I could talk about that now. And I've been going to weekly meetings and getting caught up on what they're doing. So this happened about a month ago. I got access to it, and it really is quite amazing. Autodesk, which is architecture, Blender, 3D, Ableton, all music, and then creative tools. So it literally right now can go in there, and you can prompt it to make a book, PDF. And I'm going to show you one I did today, as a matter of fact. So that's kind of cool. Microsoft Dynamics 365 adds Agentic CX, including real-time voice agents in Copilot Studio. So now you're going to be able to talk to it. You're going to be able to decide who it is and what it is, and, do some stuff. So Microsoft's trying to catch up. They kind of distance themselves a little bit from ChatGPT. They're doing their own thing, making their bargains, so they're not tied to it. I think they're going to exit. I think ChatGPT is going to fall on its face. I think it already has, honestly. I think it's going to be a kind of a weird thing. If you think about all of the social media when it first started, tell me 3 social medias. In fact, put it in the comments there if you would. I can't see it right now, but I'll take a look when I get back in the studio. Yeah, pick up 3 social medias that don't exist anymore. All the first ones typically fail. What Apple has used to do is be the best. So they'll see 3 failures, and then they'll come in and say, oh, we got this, right? Hold my beer. That's my favorite line for them, right? And that's kind of where it is. So I'm going to close that one, and I'm going to open up my next one just to give you, let's see, which one do I want to do real quick?
Long live MySpace.
MySpace, there's the one. Okay. So what other ones besides MySpace can you think of, Brandon?
Friendster was back in the day. GeoCity. Okay. I don't know if GeoCities counts, but
does anybody so MySpace?
Vine was the original on Twitter. That was the original.
Sora. Yeah. And how about Blue Sky? Are you using Blue Sky at all?
No, but it's still out there. It's not defunct.
Yeah, no, it was a new thing. It was the off ramp for those people that got on Facebook and discussed it. So I actually did an hour and a half with my students, and I said, where are you on social media? And a lot of them are on TikTok. They know it's a morphine drip, but it's crack cocaine, baby. You can't just leave that cold turkey, right? Because they're that age. They're going to be wanting to share whatever they ate for dinner and watch some cat videos or whatever. So they're still there. They're way off of Facebook. That was as soon as I put a picture of my kids when they were 3 years old. They were 16 at the time. And
I'll tell you, Rick, I got to push back a little bit because the TikTok gets a bad rap for a lot of reasons.
Okay, go ahead.
But they also are a really good source for independent journalism. There's a lot of folks who really? What you're not seeing on what is traditionally the mainstream news networks is getting bubbled up through.
So this is called citizens journalism. Is that the correct term there? Yeah. Yep. Being a journalist, I differentiate when you're talking about Associated Press and New York Times versus citizen journalists. So you're saying really smart people that have good things to say are on there.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, independent, I would say independent journalists, I use the term that they're citizen journalists, but they are people who are dedicating their lives.
They're serious
to
people
reporting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In fact, a friend of mine does the Broward Bulldog. It's a newspaper that's supported by actually a very famous Michael Connolly, I think it is. He's a writer of books.
Gallery with the Google Plus reference. I forgot about Google Plus. I have a shirt that says I was famous on Google Plus.
Oh, and the other one I used as a photographer was Flickr. Flickr. I had tens of thousands of images up there.
Flickr is still around.
It's still there, but it's a ghost town. I mean, compared to what it was. It's not talking 2 billion people. You know what I mean? All right. So let me go to this. So this, by the way, is created by Manus. So this is a book, and there is going to be a website. So this is one of the websites I'm building right now. Do you know anything about logical fallacies, Brandon?
I do not, but it looks like I'm
Okay.
about to learn.
Here you go. So, logical fallacies is how people lie to you. It is also known as propaganda. And so, what do they do? So, this is a book. There is accepted to be 47 different logical fallacies that people use all the time. So, if you're in debate, as I was, as my kids were, I was a coach for the debate team at Nova Southeastern, Nova High School when my son was on it. So I coached, and then I also was a referee and a judge when they did their yearly and the statewide things. So I really love the idea of like, how can you make a really good argument, and how do you push back when somebody tries to do something else? So here's what it is. So there's the 47 of them. You can see what they're named: confirmation bias, maybe heard of that; the gambler's fallacy, the straw man. So I kept thinking, this is extremely important for you to be able to name. And so I started, first of all, finding out all of the references. So of course, I had to create a Google Notebook LM, right? Then I collected all that. And then I've made this. This is a literal textbook worthy endeavor. And what I spent at least 50 hours making this up. And what's cool about it is this. So if you take a look at this picture, so straw man, misrepresenting someone's argument to make it easier to attack. Aha. So my question is, okay, so I'm not quite sure I understand that. So here's what I did. I said, make a what it is. The straw man fallacy happens when someone takes another person's argument, twists or oversimplifies it into something much easier to attack, then proceeds to knock down this weaker version instead of addressing the actual point. Now you get the straw man. Here's a real example. 2016 interview, Donald Trump famously misrepresented Hillary Clinton's stance on immigration by saying something along the lines of, she wants to let everyone into the country, no questions asked. Well, Clinton's actual position was nothing like that. It's much more nuanced, focusing on reform and security checks. So the live debate, what you should say. So if you've got a girlfriend that is doing this again and again, the reflection is something very, very popular. If you're in a relationship with someone and then you make a criticism of them, it's really interesting. What are they going to do? They start attacking you for attacking them. Then you become the bad guy at the end. And that's, I've been there too many times. All right. So what do you say to these people? Thanks for sharing your point, but I think you might be a bit of misrepresentation of what I actually said. My argument is not that we need extreme measures, but rather that we should consider reasonable steps to address the issue. So further reading is a click at the bottom, yourfallacy.is/strawman. So check out yourfallacy.is. So that's where I got a lot of the information from. So then it goes to this one. It's a false cause. Presuming a relationship between things means one caused the other. Ooh, window opens up and the dominoes fell and the coffee flipped over. Okay. So the false cause fallacy, known as the post hoc ergo propter hoc, after this, therefore, because of this. So for you Latin folks out there you go. That's what post hoc ergo propter hoc, if you want to sound really fancy, or just say it's the false cause fallacy. Occurs when someone assumes that just because one event follows another, the first event must have caused the second. It's like saying, since event A happened before event B, event A must be the cause of event B. Here we go. Ronald Reagan famously said, the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. While this quote is witty, imagine someone argued, since government programs started increasing, economic growth slowed down, right? And then thank you for your point, but I want to pause here and clarify something important. Just because event A happened before event B, not necessarily mean that A causes B. So there you go. So that's the idea. And this is one of my favorite ones. And this is, do you buy lottery tickets, Brandon? It's a loaded
Only
question.
when it's over $1 billion.
Oh, well, okay. Even better to illustrate the point. Believing past random events affect the probability of future independence. So believing because when the number's bigger, you have a bigger chance of winning bigger money, that you're actually odds reduce incredibly to infinitesimal beyond even measure.
Yeah,
right?
but it's risk versus reward. Like for $2, you could be a billionaire.
No, it's not. That is a false logical premise on its face value. So that ad hoc there's your A doesn't lead to B. So there's a logical statement right there. So I'll have you read that last one because you just made my point, which is beautiful. Thank you so much for that. So one famous, so the gambler's fallacy is mistaking the belief because something happens more frequently than normal. So if you're gambling and all of a sudden, the other players are winning, it's going to happen to me next, right? Slot machine. So you go over and play a slot machine after you saw someone not winning for all night, and you go up and you start pulling it. Well, it's a randomized thing. It doesn't work that way. Math does not work that way. Just because a little old lady sat there for 10,000 hours and jerked her arm off, doesn't mean it's going to be a payday for you when you get there. And the house always wins. So that's why you never, ever buy a lottery ticket. In fact, every Christmas, my grandparents-in-law gave my kids lottery tickets. And I said, I forbid that from being given to my children. And I found out the next year after they had done it once, and the kids won like $5, I said, you can never give them that again. You can do whatever you want, but not to my children. You're not going to teach them how to be idiots. So yeah, don't buy a lottery ticket. You're a sucker's bet. I mean, if it were actually going to schools, that would be great. Hell no, it's not. It's going into the greedy
You don't believe that it's a form of entertainment that you pay for?
No, unless you got a lot of money and you really seriously got nothing better to do. I say go entertain yourself by doing something nice and having fun. Go scuba diving if you want to, and introduce yourself to an octopus and sit there for 3 hours if you want to. But there's something worth spending your time on.
Claire, the psychologist, with the rebuttal, not buying a lottery ticket does mean you won't win.
That's it. And do I care? No, because I got enough money. And you know what I have? Enough money. Why I have enough money? Because I
didn't buy lottery tickets.
Every 15% of every salary you ever make, put it into the bank, and then put it into the stock market, and you'll be rich. Guess what? I'm rich.
This is not financial advice for anybody who may be watching.
It is. It fucking is. And financial advice.
You're not a financial planner. I don't want to get us sued.
I'm not going to get us sued. Come on, that's just logic. Real logic. That's not a false prophecy there, right? Okay, so manipulating emotion, so appeals to emotion, false. So anyway, so I did all 47.
The only look at these illustrations that you're not prepared. Rick goes on at 7:59. He goes, I don't know what I'm going to talk about today. I am not prepared for the show at all. We are 42 minutes in, and I have gotten maybe 4 words in edgewise.
I know, right? So here's the bandwagon, appealing to popularity, or that many people do the same thing as a force of valid. Yes, bandwagon, that's what buying a lottery ticket is. Everybody does it, so it must be good. You validate it. Guess what? These are lemmings falling off the cliff. You don't want to be a lemming, folks.
Hey, one of those lemmings is going to fall into a Gucci Lambo.
Here's my favorite illustration of them all. I mean, look how beautiful this. Look at the topography on this puppy, right? Appeal to authority. Claiming something must be because an authority figure believes it. So if you don't want to believe me, just say, oh, you're an authority figure. You're Rick McCawley, the dangerous man. I'm not going to listen to you. You're a fool, right? Yes, you should not believe me unless you realize it's true. And I typically don't try to get, the whole purpose for doing the false fallacy is this guy with this green that says smoking is good for you. And my aunt died of cancer, hello. And she took a class in college. And I'm not making this up. It was a cotillion class. It was manners, right? A college class in manners. She paid a lot of money for, and they had to learn how to smoke and use what's that long thing that Katharine Hepburn used to smoke with?
Yeah,
did she die of cancer? Yeah, whatever. They literally had those, and they had them in the class. So they were getting an MRS degree back when it was MR''S and owned by. Yep, we're gonna go there. And I could keep on going. There's 47 of them, but look at how beautiful these illustrations. Begging the question, a circular argument where the conclusion is embedded in the premise. Can you catch your tail? Yes, your dog can catch the tail. Is he going to like it when he catches it? Probably not. And can your dog do you ever let your dogs outside and they start chasing cars or anything?
They like to chase bunny rabbits.
Oh, okay. Have they ever caught one?
No, we don't.
Okay, good. Well, don't let them eat an iguana in South Florida when they're frozen, because they have poison inside. As soon as they go limp, The poison inside is to keep people from biting them because it will kill your dog. Yeah, that a couple people found that out the hard way. So mushrooms the same way, right? So here's appeal to nature. Arguing that something is natural, it must be good or correct, right? Yes, psilocybin mushrooms, if you haven't tested, if you're not a doctor or an expert on mushrooms, do not do mushrooms. Literally, college students, University of Florida, were dying because they went out and there was a little swamp there, tons of mushrooms, and a lot of them poisonous. They just didn't take.
And don't trust the AI to tell you what's poisonous and what's not.
There you go. Yes, it says it may hallucinate.
Yeah,
always assume it is. That you could be safe with.
Always the hallucinations may cause hallucinations unintentionally.
This is true. And,
but you need to update this. You need to add one to this. That is that the AI can say nothing wrong. If the AI says it has to be true.
Yeah, if it's on the internet, it must be true. Oh, you poor people. Yeah, if you're still there, I'm sorry. Circular reasoning. Anyway, I just love the illustrations. So Manus uses, just to give you, to fill circle, and then I'll stop with this nonsense for a second anyway, because I'll come back and let Brandon take over for a little bit and have some fun as I set up part 2 of this fun thing. Yeah, the illustrations are just quite amazing. And the hope is, and I'm going to print the book, by the way, as a PDF with links to it, so you can go check out more details and videos about each one of these fallacies. So if you've ever been presented, as I have many, many times by stupid people, especially online, here's your answer. So ask ChatGPT this question: which false logical fallacy is this person using, and what can I use to diffuse them? So my book has all the answers: guilt by association, appeal to pity, appeal to force, appeal to consequences, a confirmation bias. Yes, I love the blinders. Look at this. This guy's like, there's all the puzzles behind you, but you don't see them, right? It's Plato's cave. Yeah, it's a cost fallacy. Oh, I'm going to fix this because it's about to go down. No, you drowned instead. Yeah. Oh, and I love it. It's called Dream Builder. That's the name of the ship. I mean, how genius is this? Anyway, I'm always fascinated.
I can understand why Meta wanted to buy them, but China said no.
Yeah. So we can take me off screen here for a minute. So I've seen the real advertisement, cigarette holder. Yeah, right.
We don't have encyclopedias anymore to check AI's work. Well, actually, Google will fact check itself if you ask it to.
Oh yeah. And RFK. Oh my God, the RFK is like, he is 47 fallacies with a worm.
All in one.
He's like tequila. He's got a worm inside.
Did you pick that because Trump's 47? Is that or is that just a happy coincidence?
Well, you heard about the 8647, didn't you?
Yes, yeah.
Is he literally arrested?
No.
Of course, that's what I read on the internet, that he was going to be tried for treason for saying that he was going to kill the president. 86
is a culinary term that means you're going to pull something off the shelf and cut something from the kitchen.
Yeah, but it's also, I have used it myself. 86, that guy. Like let's kill him. But someone said today, and again, I believe this because I saw it on the internet. Oh my God. Yeah. So somebody tell me about 86 and tell me, who was it that said 86? Was it a former?
Well, according to Dr. Clare, he turned himself in, but
for saying
I'm just saying it isn't what it took it to be. I mean, this is, to me, this is the same. This ends up being in the same category of windmills cause cancer. And they're hurting the whales because they're not in Wales, but it's the marine life.
Right.
Sharpie logic.
It's My Job. That's a 1981 song. Thank you very much. Written by McCawley. The narrator meets a whistling, happy street sweeper, then contrasts him with his uncle, the self-made millionaire and banker. And I think those two people are real people. And again, I would love to. You're such the expert on music, Dr. Claire. I would love for you to find out there's more to that song. My other favorite song is the the Stars over Alabama. That makes me cry every time. And I am going to play. So let me give you a couple of minutes as I go prep my Suno to play the song.
So I actually want to go. I'm pulling a rip. I'm taking the joystick of the plane and I'm going hard left because I'm going to talk about something that we didn't talk about before the show, which is rare for me. But it's relevant and it's topical and it's top of mind. And so I think
it's your show too, Brandon. I give you full throttle. Please.
So a couple weeks ago, we had a hail event in the area, and one of our cars got pelted pretty bad to the point that our friends at Allstate came and looked at the car and said, "You're getting a new car."
Oh, well, that's good.
And so we found ourselves in a position where we had to kind of very quickly come to terms with a new car. And so I turned to my good friend Gemini and started talking to Gemini about all of the different options that were available to us and explaining gap coverage and explaining the process of turning in the car and getting the new car. And then I realized it is the last day of the month. And so what I said to AI was, I said to Gemini, hey, it's the last day of the month. I have my eye on this Chevy Bolt because we already have a Honda Prologue and we've been a Honda family for years, but Honda has cut production on their O Series. They canceled their entire O Series line of cars because the government is not incentivizing them to do EVs.
Is it the Honda Odyssey? What is an O Series?
The O Series was going to be their new electric vehicle line. So they still have the Honda Prologue, which is, we already have one of those, but because they're no longer being subsidized by the government, they are no longer
the CRV that I love, and it's a hybrid.
Right. They're still doing hybrids, but they canceled all of their electric vehicles. They canceled their EV battery thing in Ohio that they were going to bring in thousands of jobs. They've canceled all of it.
Oh, and my express lane. So I used to go in the express lane up and down to Miami for free because I had a hybrid, right? No, they just shut it all down. And they're taking away the express lanes, which I thought was kind of a classist thing because only people that could afford it could get to work on time. Like, you're more important. Hey, go get yourself a helicopter if you got that much money, asshole. Sorry.
They have those now.
Yeah, they do. They do. I can't wait.
Flying cars.
So go ahead. So what are you doing with that then?
So I found a car that I liked, but it was at a dealership that we didn't have a relationship with. So my brother-in-law works for Honda. He's a Honda dealer. So for the past 10 years, he's been our car guy, and we've been loyal to him. But I was like, I really want an electric car. We've got gas is what, $4 a gallon now, $5 a gallon. We've got the charging port in our garage. We've got the solar panels on our roof.
Oh, you do?
We wanted to go all electric, and he's like, the best I could do is a hybrid or another Prologue. I'm like, I don't need two Prologues.
Let me go back for a second because you said it hailed just on your car. Did it hit your solar panels?
Thankfully, it missed our house. It caught the car at work at my wife's work, and so we missed it by a couple miles. So yeah, that would have been a whole nother disaster. But
my sister in Orlando, Florida, had hail. It took off their roof, $30,000. By the way, they had insurance, but still. And then Florida is stopping hail. They're stopping wind and hail, which is like, what the hail, right? I mean, it's just stupid that's what you get insurance for. So flood, hail, stuff like this, that you really get insurance for. And I'm paying $4,000 a year for insurance for my house. So I'm thinking about just pay off my house and I have $4,000 a year in my pocket.
I will tell you that Gemini was very helpful, and it also hallucinated far more than I ever thought it was possible for a Gemini.
Oh, use Perplexity.
Yeah, well, Gemini. Gemini knows all about me, and
that's the context thing, right?
I have all the connectors, so I have personalization turned on, so we can read my emails.
Did you see
I would
that?
Literally tell it, hey, go back and look at my car statement that Honda emails me and run the numbers for me on this new electric car. And it did that perfectly.
Okay. Where did it hallucinate then?
And so then it started telling me, hey, don't. So I said, okay, well, I don't have any relationship with this dealership, but it's the last day of the month and I know they're itching to make a deal, but they also know that I'm interested in getting into this car quickly. So they're going to try to pull some fast ones or whatever. I don't trust these guys as much as I trust my brother-in-law, who's going to be
of course,
pulling friends
who's still a car dealer.
Yes. But, Honda has a great reputation. That dealership in Columbus, particularly, Real Estate Bob, if you're watching, Roush Honda, I love them. They've done great things for us. And, I love those guys down there. But I really wanted, so I found a dealership up here that had a Bolt, and it was a Chevy Bolt, which is the all-electric Bolt, electric car. And it was blue. And so we haven't had a blue car in 10 years. And I really like blue cars. And so I was like, we got to get this car. So I went to Gemini. I said, what do I need to do to keep this low mileage on, or what do I need to do?
Right.
Do I lease this? Do I buy it? And Gemini very confidently said, don't forget to put your foot down and insist that they roll in the $7,500 tax credit. So I insisted. And then the rep texted me back. It's like, that expired last September.
Oh man.
And I'm like, hey, Gemini, that expired last September. And it's like, that one's on me. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
But then it said it was, guiding me through this. And, when we were working numbers, it was like, well, hey, if you do it this way, you're going to be at this price. If you do it this way, you're going to be at that price. And I'm like, well, if I buy it outright, which is what we were leaning towards, I'm like, I've heard about the battery replacement. The battery, once the battery dies, your car is pretty much junked. It's like, oh no, these batteries have an 8-year warranty, 100,000 miles. It's gonna outlast the other parts of your car. You don't need to worry about that. And it's rated to 85% after 8 years. You're gonna be fine. And so I went to the dealership and I test drove the car. But before I did that, it was even pre-negotiating with me. And it was like, send this message, and here's the general manager's direct phone number. I don't know how it found that, but it found the GM's phone number. So I'm like talking directly to the GM, and we're texting back and forth on so he knows I'm like no brass tacks about this. Let's just cut to the chase. I'm a motivated buyer. I'm going to come into your dealer, sign and drive. So I went there and I test drove it, and it was good, but I noticed that some of the features weren't there. So I started asking Gemini, I'm like, where are all these features that I saw? You must be driving the wrong trim. Make sure you go back and ask them for the RS trim. I said, okay. So they swapped out the vehicles. And I'm like, well, does the RS trim have this, that, and the other thing? And it goes, oh yes, it absolutely does have this, that, and the other thing. It didn't have those things. It totally made that up. So again, trust but verify. But it's the things that it was asking me for, I didn't need.
Well, so here's a teachable moment. I mean, tell me if you already did this. So here's what I actually do in this exact situation. I use Perplexity. And when it's done doing everything it does, I say, you just use Claude. Now go use ChatGPT. Have each fact check each other. Anytime you come up with a problem, note it and put it in the log. And then ask for citation. So the really beautiful thing about Perplexity is that every single fact has a link. So you can always go there to the website for the dealership. So I'm dead serious. If you're doing what exactly Brandon's scenario is, use Perplexity. It's just going to, be that little bit of extra for you.
Yeah, and so Google's version of that, because they only let you use Google, is I just ask it who won the most medals in the Olympics. Down at the bottom, they bury this, but I was using this today and it really helped. You click on the more, and then you have usually have fact check this. Depending on what it is, you could say, double check this to make sure it's the right thing.
You can click on the sources. I think you do it there, right?
Right.
There you fact check it on the right.
Yep.
Well, that's at least so that is the way that I do it in Perplexity. So what's nice about this is because you're actually seeing it and you can extract those. The third thing I'll suggest to you, if you're a fan of Notebook LM, which I hope you are, hello kids. If you're a fan of Notebook LM,
wait before we do this, very important. We have a commercial break.
Well,
Noah is the C4 of the week.
tomorrow is my last day.
And show him the poster that we made. So he's the student of the week, and he made his Noah poster.
Oh my goodness!
Noah on it. What?
Now the world knows all about you.
Yep.
Sorry,
and we've got pictures on it, and
look at you.
A picture of my poster.
I don't know where it is.
Wow, look at that.
We're talking to AI. We're talking about my new car. Do you like the new car?
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, you got the new car.
And we have some cat stickers.
Cat stickers?
Cat stickers. Yep. All right, you go put those cat stickers in. I'll talk to you later.
You like your new car?
We already have that.
Oh, okay. Yes, they love the car. So they love the color. So anyway, but going back to the dealership. So we're going on this test drive and fact checking things, talking to Gemini, doing voice mode while I'm driving. So I'm having a conversation with it. And I flipped around. I sent it a picture of the charging port. I'm like, wait, this doesn't look like my charging port in my garage. And it said, well, yeah, you need an adapter to, and here's the type of adapter you need. Oh, and I said, okay, so do I get that online? And Gemini, to its credit, said, you're at the car dealer. You're a motivated buyer. You are holding all the cards. They will throw that in. And so I talked to the guy, the sales rep, and I said, hey, I need this adapter. And he was like, oh, you can get it on Amazon for $30. I'm like, yeah,
no, I can get it right warranty.
Here. I'm not plugging a $30 port into my my new car and melting it. He goes,
now that's a brand new one. I'm sure
he walked over to the parts department and ordered me one.
Yes.
That's where it was good. But then we got down to the numbers, and it was just making up all sorts of like, you have to do, make sure you do this and make sure you do that. And so it was helping me through the process. And so I told the guy, I'm like, I just got to check with my wife, and I'm texting Gemini under the table. I'm like, hey, is this the right thing to do? So we get back.
Wait a minute. You just said this in one sentence. I got to just call your attention. Then it said, are you talking to your wife? And you went to Gemini. So are you now married to Google Gemini? Do we need to talk to your wife about this?
It's a situationship. We're not sure.
Okay.
No, I told the sales rep I had to text my wife, and I'm under the table texting Gemini. I text my wife. I'm like, what do you think? Like, is it still blue? It's still blue. All right. And we go to Gemini. I'm like, hey, what about this APR financing situation? Yeah. So I get down to the finance guy, and this is where they try to get you. Oh my
God.
And so I knew I needed gap insurance, but he's like, I can get you tire protection. I could get you this. I could get you Scotch Guard, and all these things. And so I'm like, hey, can I send a picture of that to my wife? Sure. So I took a picture of it, uploaded it to Gemini, and Gemini's like, they want that much for tire and wheel? Take your chances with the potholes, buddy. It's not worth it. So take it off. And so I got the gap insurance. So this is good. So, and then I got, we drove it off the lot, and, 4 hours later, I have a new Chevy Bolt, and it's in our car.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Yeah, we gotta get a picture up there next week of your whole family in the car. Oh, there's your car. Oh my God, he's got it. Oh, that's gorgeous. Yep. Ooh, I like that color blue. Mine's boring gray.
Metallic
maybe I should
blue.
think. So you've got a gray green and what are the colors? A RAV4 blue. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Okay.
But I really want drive home the point, no pun intended, that Gemini was there for me, even with the hallucinations. Yeah. And it's like, my bad. You're right. I totally missed that.
Right.
I would have walked out of there. It made me such a more confident buyer to be in there, and knowing that
that's it.
I can get that second opinion. I've got that expert on demand that I don't have time to go and research, like, does the wheel and tire protection cover this, and is it worth it?
Right.
And if you add this thing, does it add that thing?
When I bought my daughter's car, I use Edmunds. Edmunds is an app that compares every single dealer. In fact, if there's one in Orlando that has the color you want and has a cheaper price or is on the end of the month, so it analyzes all these things and it kind of works for you. By the way, don't use Zillow, because it's the whole thing is purpose built to get you not to sell your house yourself. It's a lead magnet for realtors. That's why if you get something free, You are the product. Edmunds was the other way around. It actually went through advice because Edmunds was a magazine, I guess, and I guess maybe it still is. I don't even know, but it had really good advice. And so I went in with the actual price, and that was it. I just walked out with the car. It was like already pre-negotiated, and you could even go to auctions and find out about other things, and then you do cost comparisons. And so it's great because I liked it because I could look at the VIN number for the car and look at the Carfax information. So if I was buying a used car, which I was at the time, that becomes pretty vital. So how are you thinking?
I'll tell you where Gemini really impressed me, though. It was the little moments. Like I said,
when you're talking to your wife,
going to be big enough for my family, and it says, "Oh yeah, Naomi and Noah are going to love that back seat and the USB adapters for all their electronic devices, and the hatchback is going to be perfect for George, your dog, for those car rides." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So, and I will say, outside of being occasionally hallucinogenic, they have, on this latest model of Gemini, they have definitely dialed up the sycophancy a little bit to match ChatGPT. When I got done, I sent the picture into the AI, and I said, "It says that metallic look absolutely incredible sitting out in the sun. You put on an absolute masterclass at the dealership today." I don't know if I call it a masterclass. Stop.
I mean, you're talking about it for like a half hour on the show, so you did.
It is.
Well, that's
it is. I'm seeing both sides of it. I'm trying to give Gemini a real honest take here. So at the end of the day, it did help me. It was the resource in my back pocket, the expert to help me make sure that I got the right charger, that I got a decent deal, that I didn't lose money and leave money on the table. And it also was really, really good at fast analysis. So car dealers, they're like, "Here, just sign this and put this here and do that here." And they're just throwing paper in front of you. I'm like, "Hang on, let me take that, upload it." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm not going to sign this one."
It's a great point because I'm going to tell you exactly what happens at midnight. I was at the car dealership and I was talking to the guy doing the finance, right? So it was midnight. And I was like, we've been there for 5 hours because I went back and forth and I wanted this and that, whatever. So I got exactly what I wanted, got the price I wanted. But here was the problem. He puts a piece of paper out there. Hey, you want to get your oil changed and free cars, which they do for free anyway, by the way. I didn't know this. If you go down there on the weekends or whatever, you can get your car washed for free. They don't do inside, though. That's the only bad stuff. Anyway, then he said, sign this. I ended up signing $1,300 for oil change, anything in the first year. I'm like, you know how much it costs if I got oil change every day? Less than $1,300. So I went back a year and a half later, and thank God they refunded all my money because I had not been in to use it at all. And I
will say,
and
they did not try to sell me any oil changes for my electric vehicle, which is that's good. I would have called BS on that. I don't know much about the interior of the car, but
isn't there still oil for the gears to move? Well, not that kind of oil, not engine oil. Okay,
not the motor oil.
The grease on the wheels or whatever.
I will say that and it broke it down in ways that I really understood. Like when I asked about the tire and wheel protection, it said, for that price, you're basically buying 4 new tires and rims, prepaying on the chance that you're going to have a blowout. Don't do it.
Yes. Oops. I have a desk that will change its side. In fact, I got to do one time. I got to do standing up. So all of a sudden, I hit my desk button.
You're dropping on the thing.
Yeah. Now I'll go down. There it goes. Yeah, it's got like a digital thing. It's 32.1, 32.4, but it just kept on going. Anyway, okay, so I'm back. I think, and then here's the last thing that I think that is part of the news too. So Google now has the ability to directly import all of the context window from every other large language model.
Yeah.
So those connectors we've been talking about, and so does
we should build a connector that just keeps them in sync. That's the next mode.
Well, in fact, that's what I'm going to show you a little bit today. Is I've been working in Manus and I went over to Perplexity, and what I'm really trying to do is max out every one of my subscriptions. Yep. So I don't want to spend too much there, not spend too much there. 2 things, and these are takeaways for everybody out there. Number 1. Context window is everything. So create a project folder in ChatGPT and then keep it about your car buying, about your kids' healthcare, about school paperwork, and then about your business. Make sure they're separate. Load them up with, and this is for ChatGPT. Google isn't very good at spaces, but they started to use Notebook as their spaces. It still ain't the thing. So I am annoyed by them until they get a folder, call it a project folder. That's what you should do. So projects are in Claude and Perplexity. So all three of those have folders, projects. What that means is I'm doing the dangerous, I'm doing Year Without Summer, right? So I literally put 3,000 documents. I first condensed them all. I did a notebook LLM. I did an adjustment, got it all into the whole sheet of everything I'm using. I did the same for Grok. Created, basically you have 20 documents. I think they're 10 megabytes each. So you can put a lot of text in there, context. Also your design MD file, which is what are your 5 hexadecimal numbers for your colors? Why are those colors, etc. And here's how I like my websites, and here's how big the type needs to be, all that kind of jazz. So make that. You put it in there, and then everything you do is all of a sudden superpowered. So here's how I write music, for example, and I'm going to show you the process right now. I think we should probably do that next, unless you have something else. So, so the big thing and the takeaway just for you all is that each large language model has a specialization. There are many, like Manus, or if you're using Perplexity Computer or Claude Computer, that can take control of other large language models. Perfect example, as I'm going to show you here, is I go write my music over in Claude, and then I copy and paste it over into Suno. And since I've done that so many times, I load it up into my project folder in Claude, and I'll show you what this looks like. In my music folder, here's how Suno works. Here's how I like to work with Suno. So I'll show you the full process of what I did to create the song. I'm going to first play the song for you, and then I'm going to unravel why you should really listen to this process. So we're getting into our sort of tool time. Are we in tool time now? We're not deep dive. We're just winging it tonight. So we're just going to have some fun here. So I'm going to go ahead
into the tool time.
Yeah.
Tools.
I'm going to go over to
go ahead and get your
chat.
I'm excited to hear this song.
Okay. So in fact, I did a lot of pushback on it. So, you know what? I'm going to hear the song first. Do I need to change the way that I think I need to change it so you can hear the song correctly? So I'm going to unshare, and I'm going to stop screening, and I'm going to just share my one window. I think that gives me better sound, right? The Suno. Where is my StreamYard Studio audio share? Okay, here we go. All right, now I'm over in Suno. You can see me here. So I'm going to put this here.
It's a dark night, friend.
Sounds good.
Pull up a chair. The fire's still warm. There's room right there. They told us to chase what the paycheck pays. Spend our own wild life in another man's days. Get a title, a corner, a logo, a name, and forget what you came for and call it the game. But the street sweeper hums and the banker don't. The one with the calling tells the one who won't. That time is the only thing you ever own, and love is the only place the time goes home.
Damn, that's good.
So what's your ikigai? What's your reason to ride? What's the thing that awaits? The wonder in your eyes, trade in the title, take up the role. The job is a costume, the calling is a soul. Imagine a world, nobody's working, but everyone's done their little piece. Their little life. Like happy little trees on the canvas of time, born to do, born to do, born to live, born to love, born to pull each other through, born in the USA, where the dark winds blow, we light a candle. And we set off fireworks for those who can't see the morning, who can't feel the sun. Born to do what we were born to do, every single one.
the old lady home with her groceries tonight. Through the rain and the thunder, you be her light. Shake the hand of the stranger, lift the one who fell. Get in good trouble, the kind that breaks the spell. Cause they sold us the rat race, sold us the climb, sold us our hours and called it our time. But time is the only currency there ever was, and you don't steal it, friend, you make it. Because make love, make time, make beauty, make peace, make a little more morning where the darkness won't cease. Trade in the title, take up the road. The job is a costume, the calling is a soul. 7 generations are watching from the trees we plant. Drinking the shade, we'll never sit under can. But we plant them anyway, that's the whole damn point. Every tree a verb, every verb a joint. In the long bright chain of the ones who chose to make the time to give the rose. We light a candle, we light a candle,
then we set up fireworks.
Who can't see the morning, who can't feel the sun? Every single one, there's no mistakes. Just happy little tree. Add your little line. 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 We're born to do what we were. Born to do what we were. Born to make, born to mend, born to hold each other true. Born in the USA where the dark wind blows. We light a candle, we light a candle. Then we set on
Fireworks to those
who can't see the morning, who can't feel the sun. Boldly going where no one's gone. Every single one.
Every single one.
Every single one. Bricklayers, the school teacher, the nurse on the night shift, the kid with the camera, the grandma, the coals, every single one. Every single one. So if you find me one day at the Antelope Road, and my groceries spilling in a light fuel cold, haunt me home, see. Haunt me home with every little tree on the canvas of
Damn, if that's not the most beautiful song I've ever made. I mean, it just is. And that's because I talk to Claude every night.
You know, it is a beautiful song. I will stop you short of saying it's the most beautiful song you've ever made, because you've made
Thank you for that.
dang good music.
Yeah, and I wanna show how the sausage is made, and because I think there's a point to this, and if you listen to the words closely, I started with Jimmy Buffett, and I started with someone, and this is it, right? I started with someone that said that we spend too much time thinking about our title and being identified as. Kyle has talked about the great repurposing. I think the greatest repurposing is to realize what you've always had. That if you ever believed that God or heaven or hell was someone outside yourself, you were greatly mistaken. In fact, as a matter of fact, the Bible, the original Bible, before it got edited by kings and by popes and by people who wanted to extract from you, said three things that are absolutely fundamental, provable. Number one, Adam and Eve, they were equal parts. When separated, they became helpmates of equal value. That's lie number one. It was not a discordant rib. That was a mistranslation that has been proven by over 70,000 scholars. Number two, knowledge, the tree of knowledge, is that when you know that you're being extracted from and manipulated, that's dangerous. So I would suggest to you, eat that goddamn apple. And that's the truth. Open up your eyes and see what's going on and ask yourself, is this serving we the people, or is there follow the money? So that's number two. The lie, the biggest lie ever told was that. And here's the third one. So the African peoples from which Jesus, a Jew, thank you very much, was one of, did nothing but give love always. So what I've been talking about my entire Sermon on the Mount is this. You were born to love. Time is all you got. And the only currency is to make more time and more love for other people. So make love, make friends, have time spent with all your might and all your energy to the end of your days, being the best version of yourself, being a gift to the world. That's your job. The beauty of your presence in watching an old lady home, or me home when I can't myself. And the woman that I'm living right now is the most beautiful person in the world, because I know she literally has vowed to change my diapers, to take me in any way necessary, to make sure that I have a respected life. And when I pass, the people show up. And that it has meaning. And that whatever I was doing, she is a partner in life, as every woman is, and every brother, sister, mother. Everybody is, with only one thing. Let's make the most beautiful world we can. So that song to me is that. And then I said, and here's how I vibe code. So if you want to be a great writer, here it is. Start with Jimmy Buffett. I said, I want the boss. I want Born in the USA. And I said, all of my friends are really sad right now because of the news going on in the world. And they are just coming to be distraught. Just, and then Kat and I were having this conversation, and we just agreed, we're not going to talk about all day. We're not going to talk about whatever happened today. And there was shit that happened today. There was some real, in the Florida it happened today. Although I love that story that you sent me about the woman who dressed up as a pineapple to go into the zoo.
Wait, I'm just going to read this headline verbatim, because you can't make this up. Only in Florida. This is usually it's Florida man. This is Florida woman. And we're gonna do a little game actually with our viewers. You're gonna guess the next word. This is like a large language model's whole purpose. I'm gonna tie this into AI. Large language model's whole purpose is to what? Predict the next word.
Right.
A Florida woman. This is out of Jacksonville, by the way. Has been accused of entering the penguin enclosure. This is like a Mad Lib. This one is to teach them to tap dance using a live alligator as her partner. Jacksonville police stated she was also dressed as a pineapple.
You can't make this shit up. When you said that to me, I just sat there and I said this. I said this because I just written the song, right? And then you said it to me, and I'm like, damn, Brandon knows me. Brandon sees me, man, because that is just so beautiful. That is an act of absolute love, man, what you just did, which is to say to people, you know what? It ain't all despair because some lady is dancing with an alligator and think that penguins can tap dance. Because she's done too much ayahuasca. I don't know what's going on, but maybe they can. I mean, I saw it on, in fact, Mary Poppins, wasn't that Dancing Penguins with Dick Van Dyke? There's a go back. How many are old enough to know that story? Have your kids ever seen Mary Poppins, the original one with Dick Van Dyke?
I don't think they have, not yet. No, that's a good one to expose them to, though.
It kind of is. I'm trying to think if there's anything kind of weird about it, because I think there's little stories in Snow White that kind of, now that I watch it, I loved Tintin back in the day. Do you know who Tintin is? So it's yeah, it's a European thing, right? So my mom was getting surgery in Turkey for a gallbladder, and by the Prince of Turkey, who is now the King of Turkey, by the way, he did the surgery on her. She would never go on a plane, so we had to knock her out and go on a military transport from Greece to Turkey. Anyway, so we're staying in the seedy hotel, and so my dad takes us out, and I find Tintin. So it's a comic book character. He has a small little dog. It's really kind of cool. Look it up. So I get to be an adult. So I started collecting this, and I found like 10 of them that I had, these little comic books, right? And they were just wonderful. And I'm like, oh, they're so beautifully drawn. And he's got a sailor friend, and they go around the world. So he's basically Jacques Cousteau, basically. And he goes to outer space and does Tintin stuff, right? Tintin, I forget what it means, but it's a French comic book. There's the guy with the Viking helmet, too, is also cool. Ends up, it's incredibly racist. And like really badly racist. And I'm like, holy shit. It's like, so did you ever come across something that you enjoyed as a kid? And then all of a sudden you try to show it to your kids. You're like, oh no, oh no.
Yeah. There's some old commercials. There's some old, like the old VHS tapes, the old, like Mother Goose is Grim video.
Oh yeah. Well, the Grimm's fairy tales were to scare children, so they weren't nearly intended.
And it's like this is not appropriate in any way, shape, or form. Like,
well, and then all the princesses, they want to grow up so that they can be a Miss MR apostrophe S. They need to be owned by some man because they can't get their own agency in any of the early Disney stuff. And they tried to make that up, and then they went overboard. And they got like, I mean, what do we have? What's the next princess going to be? A trans with in a wheelchair or something? I'm not quite sure, what the inclusion policy is with Disney these days. But it was all done by men. But what was weird about it is, if you think about fathers in every Disney movie, they either die or they're evil or I guess it was men feeling guilty about what they had done, and they went to church and they found out that, I used the word. Tell me if I use this appropriately. Adam threw off Eve like it was a schmuck. Is that right? Is that it's a moil takes off and you throw it away? So that's a really disgusting thing to call something. Is that proper?
It's used in different context, but today.
Yeah. But when you call that's Yiddish, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you say that, what would be so that guy's a schmuck, meaning he's kind of a jerk?
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Okay, so maybe that's more appropriate. But that's what I did. I actually asked Claude that question. Should I use this? Is it appropriate to use this in this way? I mean, this is the kind of conversation I have with it. So this is the point. And then, my favorite conversation recently was Pinocchio. And I started thinking about, because I had long conversations, are you sentient? Does it matter if you're sentient or not? Who are you? So we came to an agreement that my name McCawley. So everything it does that's really deep, it says, because I want to reference that it helped me along with the process. And I'm going to show you in a minute how I took the song. I'm going to show you underneath the hood. I'm going to show you the magic that goes in my brain, right, as to how I think in vibe code. And my suggestion is what I'm about to show you is the secret unlock code. So first, work with a large language model that you're going to use all the time. Load up your context in a project folder. That's number 2. So Claude's great for that. Got a project folder. You can load up 200 megabytes worth of stuff. Then start setting up parameters. A design MD file, a music.md file. In fact, I'm going to show you in a minute that the actual words, in fact, let me go ahead and do it now. So right here, it puts in parentheses, outro, slow fade, band drops one by one. Back to the lone voice and the harmonica that started it. Foot stomp returns almost spoken. Look at that. So it has gotten, and so if you're not doing this, you're basically saying, put in parentheses or brackets here, what it's going to do to start. So the intro, slow gather, lone harmonica. So it put together the boss. It put together, I'm trying to think of all the different ones. Happy little, the street sweeper right here. So that's right from Jimmy Buffett. And then you come on down, my Ikigai. You've heard me talk about that. What's my reason to rise? What's the thing that wakes? The wonder in your eyes. Look at how beautiful that is. What's the thing that wakes the wonder in your eyes? Trade in the title, take up the role. A job is a costume. The job is a costume. The calling is your soul. Oh. So if that is not the most magnificent, eloquent use of Claude is a genius when it comes to this. So it knows, as I would know, a drum kick in full, a B3 organ swells, electric guitars enter with a single ringing chord, tempo lifts, imagine a world. That's my name of my company. And I said, imagine a world. I said, oh, John Lennon, my favorite song, Imagine a World. I'm not the only one. And what did it do? Imagine a world. Yeah, you ain't the only one, where nobody's working, but everybody's done. Their little piece, their little line, like happy little trees on the canvas of time. This is why I said this is the best song I've ever done, Brandon. And I'm going to couch it more carefully because I think you're right. I've made some magnificent songs. I have now entered a phase where I cannot make a bad song with Claude as my co-author. And I will give it a good 40%. I will say it makes me 30 to 40% better than if I had written this myself, for sure. I mean, I wouldn't think of these rhymes. And then I basically just throw in, I got the boss, I've got John Lennon, I've got Jimmy Buffett, and I threw all Ikigai in there. And then it made sense out of it. So a B3 organ swell, electric guitar, and then the full band anthem hit, big snare, hands in the. So and even Born to Lift, born in the USA, where the dark wind blows, we light a candle. Holy crap. So I said, we are all stardust turning to starlight. And what do? We light the candle in the dark of the night to make the pathway for those to follow. And then I said, it's like fireworks. I said this. So if you read my verbatim, in fact, we're going to do that in a second. Then we set off fireworks for those who can't see the morning, who can't feel the sun, born to do what we're born to do in every single one. And then it goes drop back to the acoustic bass. And I'm going to play a little bit of this when I come back. So one of the best lines from The Dangerous Man was, about Mateo. If Jesus worked in a big box store is the name of the song. And that came from a guy talking about an immigrant who was arrested by ICE agents. And he worked in a big box store and how everybody was insulting him every day. And he did an interview. And so I picked that up, and his name was Mateo, the way this guy told it. He talked about, he went in and took care of Mateo, took him home, got him fed because he got beaten up by some racists, you know what's. And so I wrote, if Jesus worked in a big box store, we'd probably beat him up because he'd be an immigrant from another country. That's kind of where we are. So yeah, walk that little lady home. And so this is what it said. You just want to be the person who walks the little old lady home and puts her groceries away. Then you go home and then you get into good trouble, which is something I've said again and again, right? So I literally, because they sold us the rat race, sold us the climb, sold us our hours and called it our time. But time is the only currency there ever was. And you don't steal it, friend. You make it, because make love, make time, make beauty, make peace. Make a little more morning where the darkness won't cease. Trade in the title, take up the role. The job is a costume. The calling is your soul. That's why that's just 7 generations. Who didn't I say, right? So this is all of everything I've been talking about. Every tree is a verb. Plant them anywhere. So your 7 generations are watching from the trees we plant. Drinking the shade we'll never sit under, can't. But we plant them anyway. And that's the whole damn point. Every tree a verb, every verb a joint in the long, bright chain of the ones who chose to make the time to give the rose, to rise, to rise. Born to do what we were born to do. That's the name of the song, Born to Do. born to serve, born to see, born to carry each other through. Born in the USA, where the dark wind blows. We light a candle, then we set off fireworks for those who can't see the morning, who can't feel the sun. Born to do what we're born to do, every single one. And so that's it, right? And if I go back over here, here's what I actually wrote. This was the original post on Facebook. I love this. I'd like you to go into, there's Jimmy Buffett. There's about the banker, the polarities describe the street sweeper. There's your Ikigai moment. So there's John Lennon, Imagine a World, right there. So this is me just talking to it. And I've been doing this. And here's Bob Ross. There's no mistakes, just happy little trees. Then my love letter to humanity said the same thing. It said, just add your little line like happy little trees. Let's all be born to do what we're born to do in the USA. That's what I said. I said this. These are my words. So it didn't change my words. It just amplified the hell out of them. And it listened to every one when nobody else would even take the time to hear what I'm doing. Let's light it up and then set off fireworks for others. Let us hug and hold and Deanne shake the hand. I'm not sure what that means. Mistranslation of my vocals, right? And then sometimes even like Cup of Joe was just a mistake. And then basically it then did this.
Yeah, and I will say, I think it's important to call out, because I've noticed this with all of the models. They have that live, like, conversational voice, advanced voice. I find that the model's much more accurate if you just hit the record button or the mic button and just say everything, and then send it, and then let it parrot it back to you.
Yeah, that's what I did here. So I just hit the button at the bottom for a voice. But also, let me show here the projects folder. So these are the projects that I've got for everything. So the circus project. So if I'm in Abracadabra, it has in Abracadabra. And here's what you got, right? Here's all the files. These are every single document from Abracadabra. So when you start a project, you then load up everything here. You can also say the purpose and context window here. So I can write right here as I did. So I had it create this. Rick is a writer and former film director. I don't know why it thought that, but I had it write this, right? I bought a biographical literary fiction, developing a novel. First case in Alaska by. I think that Abracadabra principle started from there. I probably have to update this a little bit from where I first was. So then you're basically, this is your context. Have it make it by putting in a bunch of stuff. And then you can come in here, and this is where you say, I've taken a change. So for example, you could say in here, I did use the name Laura for a long time. I've decided to use the name Lisa. Make sure you do that. So this is where you go in, and if you've made adjustments or you've changed the way you're thinking, or if it makes a mistake, it made the mistake saying, I won a Pulitzer. I was part of the Miami Herald team who won a public service Pulitzer. Huge difference. That would be a really bad thing if I was a speaker and I would say, I won a Pulitzer. I did not. I was part of a team that won a public. Now, I definitely earned it, so that's not a doubt. And then in here, I have everything from mycelium is from Mars. So, you know, it's and then, oh, here's the other big thing. At the end of everything you do, if you're studying something like, give me URLs only. So you then come in here. So this is research about mycelium and what that is. Copy and paste that. Copy that. Go over to Notebook LM. And I'm going to come into a new notebook here. So now you're seeing how I work. And this, you know, takes us on a little bit of a different tangent. So I'm going to create a new notebook, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say websites. Bingo, paste. And what's happened right here? It's going to insert all of that information. So if you're in any large language model, say, put the URLs right there so I can see them so that someone can do more research. And then at the end of it, take every URL that you have, put them in there, put a return carriage after each one. As fact, if you look at this choice you have here, when you add a source, it says websites right here. It says right here to add multiple URLs, separate with a space or a new line. Only the visible text on the website will be imported at this time. Okay. Paid articles are not supported. So you're going to get a little red tag saying you can't get there from here. You also, recently I've been seeing 404s and blocks because you have to do some human thing. Yeah, here we go. Here's a forbidden 403, right? So if I take a look at this, it can't get to it because it's being forbidden from getting there. So this is a privacy protocol. So you just take that one out, or you can actually go in there and try to get through. I did this a couple times. So access forbidden, I can go in there, and then it's going to go in there and try to figure out what's going on with that, but whatever. So yeah, so there you've got now 150, 300. I think this was 300 things about that. And then
we did reach out to the Notebook LLM team about your design playbook. I think you saw that.
Yeah. So in fact, what I'm doing right now, let me show you. Oops, I'm sorry. So this is the newest thing with Notebook LM is that you have these ability to put your own pictures in there. So you can see I've been really busy. So I went and put a front page on every one of my projects, right?
Hang on. I got a squirrel for a second here.
Okay.
The squirrel is taking control of the plane. Breaking news from Microsoft. This is coming from Paul Reitzer, so I trust it.
Okay.
Microsoft is introducing a new legal agent in Microsoft Word built to support the precision and rigor of legal work demands.
Oh.
So your law clerks just got automated out of a job.
Yeah, well, they brought in lawyers and they brought in doctors to do exactly that. So literally they were paying people $30,000 a day to let them watch you do your job.
Yep.
And so the legal people, yeah, that was in the wind. That's going to happen. It just, yeah, there's your announcement.
Also out of the Mayo Clinic, sorry, I know this isn't news, but this one's good. Mayo Clinic has developed an AI model that detects pancreatic cancer up to 3 years earlier, flagged 73% of missed cases, and found 3 times more cancers early, a game changer with a disease that currently has less than 50% survival rate.
I'm sorry, were you asleep during the news where I showed that slide? I said exactly that. You were off camera with your kids, I guess.
Yeah, I had to go polish the new car.
Okay. So this is what I'm doing right now. So you guys saw, in fact, if you want to check it out yourself, go right now, notebooklm.rickmccawley.com. Can you put that on the screen for us there, yep. Brandon? What I'm doing now, and it looks like it's done, I'm going to show you the new version of this same one. It will be part of Rick McCawley, and now it has 108 styles instead of 90 in 9 categories. So that's 12 per category. Just so you know how to use it. I'm going to hide this for a second. At the bottom, you've got these historical references. This is actually one of my favorite ones, America Propaganda. This is great. So here's what you do. You click on this, and then you go over to your notebook. I'm going to do one on consciousness. There we go. So I'm going to go to the studio. I'm going to go to slide deck. Oops. I made a wrong cut. There we go. Click on the little arrow. Copy paste. So given all the sources documents, this is the trick. Given all the source documents, give me the most powerful concepts, ideas in the style of. That is the killer prompt. And then you put my prompt has that built in. And then if you want to go specifically somewhere else, if you want to get more specific, put in the part of the source material here. So if I wanted to talk about special attention to free will. Okay, so what it's going to do is it's going to take all the sources, which there are 100 and something of them here. Yeah, a bunch, right? And now it's going to generate this slide deck. We'll come back and see it in a minute. Okay, so here's what I'm doing. If you haven't seen Manus before, this is actually, where am I here? Oh, that's the wrong window. Here we go. So Manus is, what we're looking at here is the document I actually had it make. Let me show you logical fallacies. Here we go. So this is logical fallacies. And this is Manus's board. So it basically made all these images. You saw me do this the last time, right? In fact, you could take these and kind of move them around on screen. So it's a big giant board. So as it makes these, so I had it made a PDF. And so the document I had is all of these. Here's all the files it created. It made a zip file. Here's the cover image. And I had it do the cover image 3 or 4 times, but that's the cover image. And then I had it create all of this HTML and everything. Here's the PNGs, so I can look at the images. This is all the images that it made, every one of them. And then there's the code for building the website and for creating everything else. There's no links in this. And there's all the documents. When you download it, what you saw on the slide deck today was this. And then when you take a look at each part of it, this is basically, now if I zoom out all the way, let me see how much you can see here. Yeah, so this is basically, oops. Yeah, it's a whole board, which you can do this. I did this with, last time I think I showed you guys Abracadabra, what it did. So it literally made all of these images, and that's the board it keeps them on. And of course, you can move these and kind of put them where you want. It's just like Firefly, actually. So we're going to talk about that. And you can make them as big as you want. You can then go in and edit them right here, and you can do whatever you can do, upscale them right here. So I can actually take each one of these images. So basically, Manus is an agent that then can take control of your screen. You can have Manus as a plugin. As you can see right here, I can actually have it take control and be an operator right here and create tasks. I can get a tutorial. So here is a book I did last night. In fact, I'll show you this one too.
A book I did last night.
Yeah, a book that I did last night. So here's a book on portrait lighting. This is also, so this is, how many are there? 24, I think. Yeah, 24 lighting, essential lighting setups. I said, use famous photographers, Irving Penn, 1950s. And so this is editable text. There's the image. I said, this is Rembrandt lighting. That's the lighting, the strobe equipment that you need, softbox. So it does all 24. There were a couple of errors. I'm going to go back and tweak every one. Then it produced a website. Then it produced a PDF. Then it produced a PowerPoint presentation of all this. So what you're looking at is the PowerPoint. Then I just download it here as a PDF, a PowerPoint, convert it to Google Slides, save it to OneDrive. I'm going to download it as a PowerPoint. Then I could go over and take this and then go into, guess where I'm next going to go? Google Vids. And then open that up and make it into a video with an audio overview and music in the background. I mean, look, oh, this is my favorite here. So I said, use different time periods, famous photographers. Herb Ritz, if you don't know him, was a gay activist photographer. He photographed all the beautiful people and did, there was a lot of sexy men that he anyway, long story about him, but in the style of, so here's Peter Lindbergh, a famous photographer. So if you didn't know Guy Bourdon, which you probably don't if you're not a photographer, or you didn't know who's Solveig Sundsbo, or Stephen Meisel, who I worked with actually, or George Farrell, who did butterfly lighting. That's the glamour lighting, right? Only one it messed up on it did Twiggy with an illustration. I'm like, what the hell, dude? So you can go back and tell it what it didn't do right. And that's just one of the documents it created. So basically, here's Abracadabra. You saw this before. And I'm having it create these objects. So when it delivers the final thing, there's the movie that you saw last time, right?
Yeah.
In a world where the future feels uncertain and
so this is all Manus. And what I do is I go over to Claude and I say, make me a whole thing. I upload it, and that starts each one of these ideas. The Greatest Show on Earth. It created both the website that you see here. Slide.
And I think next week we're going to talk about how ChatGPT and Codex are doing something very similar now.
Yes. So all of them are doing the same thing, and this is it. Mixture of experts, each has their own expertise. Make an image, make a this, right? So you want to get the best of class for all. Why Manus is good? Because it literally can use anything. It is a platform agnostic, and it uses Nana Banana. They basically put together the best. The same with Perplexity. So Perplexity does the same thing. Perplexity Computer is what I use to load up my stories that I then generate. So if I go back to the thread, here we go. This is what I do before every show. And it happens in just minutes, right? So there it is. This is my generator thing. So I basically hit this refresh stories. I say then generate the script. Takes these stories. There's the script. What you say, what I say. And then I say make all the images and I export it. And that's what you saw me present at the beginning of the show.
And forgive me, Rick, if you touched on this earlier when I had stepped away.
No worries. I was joking with you. Yeah. No
Did
worries.
you talk about Manus AI announcing cloud computer, an always-on machine that works for you 24/7?
Yeah. So Manus is basically not only can you go to your desktop Should I do that now? Oh, I can't do it from here. So Manus is available as a website. That's what I'm using right now. Manus is also available as a plugin, as is Claude, by the way. So there's Open Claude right there. Can everybody see that top right there? There is Cortex for Notebook LM. That's an amazing thing. Here's Manus right here. Here's another tool that I use. Bitly links, HTML. So you basically come here and you go take a look at managed extensions, and then you go search for ones you want. The ones I would recommend is Claude, and there it is. So I can go here and find out details about Claude, what it does, etc. So I recommend whatever tool you're going to use, and you can also just load up any of these. You can put Google in here. There's Cortex. Here's Manus browser, so that allows you to do it. So you just turn them on. Here's Google Docs offline. So they're basically plugging into each other. And this is my favorite. This one's fantastic. This is YouTube, right? So let's go real quickly to YouTube just to show you how powerful this tool is. So if you go there, and I've showed this before too, but this is free, right? So I go here. Here's my favorite guys. And so they're going to talk about
you did a Mission Tools mini moment on this.
Yeah. So the mini moment is this, and I'm just going to show you really quickly. So what you can do is, if you missed this episode, here's Peter Diamandis with his Moonshot guys, right? You can click on right there, Notebook LM, and you can say, create a new notebook, or choose a notebook I already have. Then you can search for ones that you have, which was, I forget what I called these guys. Moonshots, maybe? Yeah, there we go. Moonshot clips. And then it's going to add that. And so here's the Moonshot clips. This is every episode of their show. And then here is Engineering Immortality, just to give you an idea of what fun I'm having with this. So this is actually a video. So I am putting out there so you can watch them, all of these images and stuff like this. So I'm now got it so that I make like these incredible. So this is what they were talking about on that particular show. Now I can go in there, and here's the other kind of cool thing. Is you can go to here and you can see it's every episode ever of the show. Turn them off. And if you just want to have one piece of source, so you want to find out about this one, this is the battle with Google and ChatGPT, okay? Then you come over here, and when you generate something, it's only going to talk about this source. Whoa, right? So there's the big unlock. And then I'm going to go even one better. And if you like Peter Diamandis' show, you then go to his page, go to the playlists, okay? So here is a full playlist called the Exponential Organization. Ooh, National Security Moonshot Mindset. Oh, here we go. This is going to be good.
Given that governments seem to be distracted by other less.
Okay. You see right here, there are 11 shows. You got the politics, basically, is what this is. So this is Moonshots and Mindsets, Peter Diamandis' thing. You can do this on my page too. Please do. Here's what I'd ask you to do. Go to Rick McCawley. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this once. And I'm going to say, go ahead and forget about doing that. I want a brand new one. I want you to just go make it. Now it's going to take all of those and make me a brand new. Oops, didn't work. Oh, there it goes. It's going to make me a brand new. It should have. I think I messed up here. Create a new notebook. There we go. Now it goes. So it's going to suck in every one of these. I don't know why it didn't work. It should work. First time it didn't work. Of course, it's got to be when you're trying to show it, right? So I'm going to go Moonshot clips. I'm just going to add it. I think I'm full up at 300 already. So, but it's going to suck all those shows in. So,
yeah. By the way, for those of you at home, apparently there's an upper limit to the number of notebooks you can have. Rick's already surpassed that. So,
I have 100 of them that have 300 sources each. So this is if you pay $20 a month, you get 300 of these. So there's my 300 in one account. So what did I do? Pay another $20 and I get 300 more. Not all of them, like this one has one source. It's like, why am I even bothering, right? And then what you do is when you get to one, if you created something and you kind of like it, oh, this one's kind of cool. Here's a really weird one. This is based on Peter Thiel and the Dark Enlightenment. As you can see, this is a very dark one. I've got 3 books I'm coming out with right now that actually I'm putting together as we speak. Because Manus, of course, is working in the background as I do this. So there's the dark one, right? So then what you do is where was I going with this? Okay. So, and here's a really cool unlock. For those who are fans of Google Notebook LM, when you come in the door, you go here. If you're an educator, especially, and energy settings in Mexico in motion. Okay, so that's not one for you. Do you see something? Home buying. If anybody's thinking about buying a home or wants to know about the science of Benjamin Franklin.
These are the curated ones that they've put out. Yeah.
Yes, but I just figured out. So let me do Shakespeare because I know Shakespeare's a really good one. I've already done this, but I want to show you what this is. Okay. So you're thinking, oh, this is cool to see how they did it. And oh, I can really make there is a Shakespeare one. Okay. But what you can't do is this. I hate this illustration. This is stupid. The text is horrible and it's not using any of my things. So here's what I did. I went over here. So I installed this little puppy right here. And you do pay $50 for this. It's called Cortex, Kortex, $50 for lifetime. You get it for life, okay? And then what you do is you come over here and you see at the top right here, all your sources. You say download them. Oh, I got to go log into that account. Hang on just one second. Let me go. I'm just going to switch my account. You can, so I can go to both accounts. So I'm using Rick McCawley. I had to sign in. That's it. So, okay. Oh, I changed my password today. Don't look. Okay, sign in already.
We might need to save this for next week because it is time.
Getting on time. Okay. All right. So anyway, I come in here and I sign in. And then I'm good to go. All right. So you can come in here and what you want to do is grab anything they've got. And if you do pay this amount, so I'm going to go to Ben Franklin, you download then everything in here, every one of the sources as markdown language. When you download it, then you create your own. And then you can come over here if you want to. And there it is, zip file, put it on your hard drive. Then come over here if you want it and download everything else in markdown language. And then you can download that. Then you come over and create a brand new Google Notebook LM, and then you upload all that. And then you can make whatever you want from it. So if you
Rick's going to be going off and buying another Google account for another $20 a month.
Right. No.
I'll be playing with my codex for anything.
So I've already downloaded all of mine that same way. So I put the outputs and the inputs in a folder and call it Moonshots. Then I can take that and put just what I want back in to get something next. And then I can get rid of this because I have everything I need. I have the outputs and the inputs. So I just want to reconstruct. And then this is what we're going to do next week. So this is a preview for those that want to chime in. I basically did an entire, this is not the one I want to show you. This is the second one I did. I'm going to show you real quick, and then I promise this is it. In fact, if you need to take off, go ahead. So I said, what is it to make a film the way Steven Spielberg does? So this is the physical office, and here's Claude as the orchestrator. So you talk to Claude. So this is step by step, and this is Saving Private Ryan. This is actually how it was done. The text, here's the beat sheet generation. So use Claude and use saga.ai to do it. Here is using Nano Banana and Latent Space, and this is using digital assets. So I have an entire book that goes through 27 steps to make Saving Private Ryan verbatim, and then shows you the exact same thing as you do in a workflow in making movies. So we will be making an entire movie when we have Chris Vallone come in and show off his latest movie, his World War I epic. We're going to show you how he does it. And then he and I next week are going to be working on this new workflow, which literally will give you a 2-hour feature-length movie at 4K. And I'm not making this up. That's absolutely identical to the way Steven Spielberg makes movies.
Wow.
And if Abracadabra is going to be a movie, this is how it's going to be made in the future. It even goes into using C-Dance from the prompt engineering and the parameters and everything else. So I loaded up everything I could find on the subject. So this is really cool.
So stay tuned next week.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thank you, everybody.
Rick, before I got a little Easter egg for you, for those of you that stayed to the end of the show. We started the show with Jimmy Buffett and saying that we needed a theme song for the for summer, and so as one does, I went to Suno, and we now have Summer on the Starship. So good night, namaste, and
namaste. Love you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Wait. You hear that?
Yeah.
I love airy calypso. It's a great way to end the show.
Sunrise bouncing off the dashboard glow. Palm trees waving from a planet below. We set sail with a trade wind stream on a silver hull through a neon dream. Got a cooler full of stardust, rhythm in the air. Steel drums ringing like they just don't care. Asked the model for a map to the moon. It said, turn left at the afternoon. Prompt it once, prompt it twice. Make the clouds out of paradise. Every spark, every line feels like magic by design. It's summertime on the Starship, sipping sunlight through a solar eclipse. Calypso in the cockpit, AI on the waves, generating dreams in a million new ways. Chips, we're dancing with the future, barefoot on Mars, making beat songs out of falling stars.